Welcome back, everybody, to the Baltimore Orioles franchise here on MLB The Show 21. Today, we've got the ALDS kicking off here against the Toronto Blue Jays. Our Orioles are back in the playoffs for a fourth straight season, and we are looking to repeat. Since we are moving faster this season, we're going to get through the entire ALDS in today's episode, which should be pretty wild. As we take a look at the standings, we of course won 106 games, the most in the major leagues. So for the second straight season, the playoffs will run through Baltimore. Obviously last year that paid off since we won the World Series, so hopefully it will once again. Overall, it was a pretty successful season. There were some ups and downs. Shane Bieber ended up winning the Cy Young. Bieber started the year off really poorly. Remember, his ERA was in like the fives after the month of May, and he ends up winning the Cy Young. Should he have won the award? Probably not, but we're not complaining. But overall, it has been a great Season 6 so far. At least for regular season, has been a wild success up to this point, and we are certainly hoping that will carry into the playoffs, as we do have to make some roster decisions. There were a few guys in AAA, Will Brooks, Cosmo Cruz, and Ryan Mountcastle, who shouldn't be in AAA. I don't know why the game ever sent them down, but they're going to come back up. And then Hideki Asuncion, Shane Kovaleski, and Matthew Thompson will be sent down. Thompson, of course, is the interesting one of the group, but it shouldn't be a surprise because he finished the season with his ERA in the sixes, so I just don't trust him at all going into the playoffs. As we take a look at the lineups here, not overly different to the regular season, and of course those will fluctuate on a game-to-game basis. The rotation remains the same, the bullpen is pretty much the same as well, but without Matthew Thompson, of course. The Tides ended up winning the AAA championship, so that means our AA team won their championship, the AAA team just did, and now it's time for the Major League team to do so as we face off against Toronto, a team who, if you remember, beat us in the ALDS 2 years ago, so we are certainly looking for our revenge here against our division rivals. Since we're getting through the whole divisional series today, I obviously don't have time to play every game, so we're going to play all the elimination games and simcast the early ones. So in Game 1, we've got Shane Bieber and Jack Flaherty on the mound. Rough start for Bieber as he allows a 2-run homer to Max Kepler. Shane Bieber, of course, really struggled last year in the playoffs, so he has a major chip on his shoulder as we cut into the lead with a home run by Heston Kjerstad, so it's now 2-1. Both offenses are getting base runners, but they're having trouble generating consistent points as Ramon Laureano will drive in a run to make it 3-1. Shane Bieber's day is done after 5. He'll be replaced by Amir Garrett. So an overall disappointing performance for Bieber, although Garrett's not doing too well either. He can't even make it out of the inning. Bobby Witt Jr. and Luis Aviles Jr. both drive in runs for Toronto, so it's now 5-1. We do get an RBI single from Ian Happ to cut into the lead. But even with Julian Starnes and the Blue Jays are continuing to get some more base runners, luckily we would be able to stop them. Trying to get Carmen Sixto to get some things going. He would draw a walk. Adley Rutschman will also draw a walk. Nick Castellanos, unfortunately, would not drive them in. So it remains 5-2 with 2 innings to go. We're definitely in some trouble. Here in Game 1, we've got some damage control to do. Nothing going in the 8th inning. And then into the 9th, Cosmo Cruz would allow a solo home run to Bobby Witt. Into the bottom of the 9th, another home run for Kjerstad, his second of the ball game. And after a couple of walks, there's 2 on and 2 outs for our best player, Louis St. John. So we're going to hop in here. The tie-in run is up to bat. St. John hit a Major League leading 44 home runs this season, but he's not going to make it 45. A grounder to short. Bobby Witt makes the play. And so Game 1 will be won by the Toronto Blue Jays as they take this one by the final score of 6-3. It's only the first playoff game. There's no reason to panic, but this is definitely not the start we wanted. If you remember when we played them 2 years ago, we were the 1 seed. They were the wild card, and they just played really well early in the series, and we weren't able to catch up. So that makes this upcoming Game 2 extremely pivotal. We got to get back on track here. The offense really struggled. Louis St. John had a couple hits. Heston Kjerstad was great, 3 for 4 with 2 home runs. But outside of St. John and Kjerstad, the rest of the lineup only had 2 combined hits. The pitching was also disappointing. Shane Bieber did not really prove a lot, and the bullpen struggled too. So now in Game 2, we're going to start Kris Bubic. And as you can see, there's a defensive change. Bubic was taken out of the game, so that means he got injured. Alec Bettinger, our long reliever, is going to have to take over. So Bubic does not even make it out of the first inning, which is obviously not good. We need him to be healthy because he's arguably our most reliable pitcher, at least in the playoffs. So far, so good for both pitching staffs. Alec Bettinger has done a great job since coming in, and then Walker Buehler as well is doing very well. Bettinger would be taken out of the game after 4. Tristan McKenzie will replace him, and it's much of the same. Both teams only have 2 hits each And these offenses are just really struggling. Still tied at 0 after the 6th inning. Another shutout framed by McKenzie. Walker Buehler allows a couple early base runners, but it won't lead to anything, unfortunately. And then in the 8th inning, still tied at 0, we finally have a run. An RBI single for Mariano Escobar that'll put the Blue Jays up 1-0. So we're going to head into the bottom of the 8th. I figured it would be a good time to hop in, see if the offense can get something going, because it has been tough sledding for Baltimore lineup. That starts with Heston Kjerstad, who went 3 for 4 with 2 homers in Game 1, and he's going to open up the bottom of the 8th here with a base hit. A single into center field for Kjerstad, who was terrible in the playoffs last season, if you may remember, but this season, he's been the only hitter who's shown up so far for the Orioles. That'll bring up Elliot Ramos, 0 for 1 with a walk today. Count is full, and Ramos rips it up the middle for a base hit. So the Orioles are now starting to get some things going. 2 early base hits here in the bottom of the 8th inning. They have to score at least 1, preferably multiple runs in this inning if they want to stay alive really in this series. They cannot afford to go down 2-0. Sixto lines it into right. What a catch by Max Kepler. Kjerstad will tag up to third, but still a great defensive play by Toronto. So now there's runners on the corners and 1 out here for Adley Rutschman, who has not gotten a base hit yet in the playoffs. He cannot strike out, and he cannot ground it. Well, that's not a strikeout or a grounder. That's a bomb into center field. Caught at the warning track by Ramon Laureano. Heston Kjerstad will have no problem scoring, and so this game is tied at 1. Laureano is a cannon, but I don't think he's going to get it home from the warning track. So a good at-bat there for Rutschman, and from there, Walker Buehler is actually going to be taken out of the game. A phenomenal performance today by Buehler, and it'll be Sam Wolf who enters in his place as he faces off against Ian Happ, who lines out to first, and the play is made. Good inning, though. The Orioles driving a run. Finally, it took them 8 innings, and now the game is tied up at 1 as we go into the top of the 9th inning. We'll see if either side can break away. With how these two offenses have played, I wouldn't count on it. Julian Starnes is in for Baltimore. Starnes had a very rough regular season, but the Orioles seem to trust him in big games. He was excellent last year in the playoffs. We'll see what he can do here as he faces off against the first baseman, Brandon Wagner, who goes down on the low and outside cutter. Nice pitch there by Starnes to get the first out of the inning. 2 away now for the former Oriole, Luis Aviles Jr. He was on our roster for a very short time back in Season 3, I believe, as he flies into the left, caught by St. John. So a good inning there by Julian Starnes. 1-2-3, retires the side. Now we head to the bottom of the 9th inning. Can the Baltimore Orioles pull off a walk-off, or are we headed to extra innings? Louis St. John leads it off. Full count pitch. Looks at the outside slider for ball 4. So Louis St. John is aboard. That'll bring up Lenny Lane, who is 0 for 7 so far in the playoffs. We'll see if he can do any damage here. Count is 1-1. Pitch from Wolf. Lenny Lane hits this ball high, deep, into right center field. Go, ball, go. It's gone. A walk-off home run for Lenny Lane, and the Orioles are going to tie the series up at 1. Big ding. Lenny Lane with a gigantic home run to put the Orioles back in this playoff series. The Orioles knew they needed a win today, and even with Kris Bubic getting hurt in the first inning, and even with the offense struggling early, they're able to rally late, and the 40-year-old Japanese sensation will hit the walk-off for the Orioles. Even ripping off his helmet, I'm surprised he did that so casually, considering half of his hair on his head is gone. Nonetheless, a great home run, great swing by Lenny Lane, and the Orioles have made this ALDS real interesting as we go to games 3 and 4 in Toronto. Baltimore had to win this game. They could not afford to go down 2-0. They did come back down 2-0 last year against the Angels, but you can't count on some miraculous comeback again. Both pitching staffs were phenomenal. Shout out to Walker Buehler for the Blue Jays. He was great. And then with Bubic getting injured, Alec Bettinger, 3 1/3 scoreless. Tristan McKenzie, 4 runs of 1 hit ball. Great stuff from the pitching staff today. Bubic ended up suffering shoulder tightness. It's not going to be a long-term injury, and I think him getting hurt might actually be a good thing because he didn't have to use his arm a whole lot today. He pitched to like 3 batters. So assuming his shoulder gets all good, he's going to be loose, and maybe we need him in Game 5 if we get there. I don't trust Shane Bieber to pitch a Game 5, so if we get there, he's going to be loose, he's going to be ready to go. That sounds great, but first we have to get that far, and that starts with Game 3, and we start off strong with a home run by Nick Castellanos. That'll make it a 1-0 ball game. Castellanos has been one of the many players on this Baltimore lineup to start off poorly, but gets him on the board here. Max Meyer is pitching for the Orioles. I thought he should have won Cy Young, as it looked like we threw out a runner going home. Impressive stuff. So far, so good here for Max Meyer, who was great last year in the playoffs. I believe he was the one who started in Game 6 of a World Series, which obviously was the deciding game to help us win. Other than the Castellanos home run, we haven't done a whole lot. We do drive in a run there with Adley Rutschman off a walk. Elliot Ramos hits a sac fly. So a successful 6th inning there. We drive in 2 runs and we lead 3-0. Still 3-0 here in the bottom of the 7th. Meyer is gassed as he allows a run to score. So now it's 3-1 going into the 8th inning. Nate Pearson in for Toronto doing a good job, but right as I say that, Adley Rutschman goes deep. And then a 2-run shot for Kjerstad, his 3rd home run of the postseason. And now we are comfortably ahead 6-1. Meyer's going to be taken out of the game after 7 great innings as Cosmo cruises in. Starts off pretty poor, allowing a home run to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. 3 of his first base runners would reach, so we're going to take him out of the game pretty quickly for Amir Garrett. We allow a fly out, and then with 2 outs, I decided to hop in. If I'm being honest here, the reason why I hopped in now is because I thought it was the bottom of the 9th inning. So, yeah, I was confused when I saw it was only the 8th. High fly ball on the left, caught by St. John off the bat of Gabriel Moreno. So since we're already in the game, we're going to play through a whole 9th inning. I figured it was pointless to just go back and sim since we're already here. We'll see if the Orioles can pad their lead and hopefully finish this game off, take a 2-1 series lead. Runner on first, nobody out here for Ian Happ early in the top of the 9th. Happ shoots this one into the gap, and that's going to be a fair ball. Happ will head to second. The other runner will advance to third. And so the Orioles start this inning off with a pair of runners in scoring position with nobody out. Good start for Baltimore. That'll bring up Nick Castellanos, who homered back in the 1st inning. Might have gone deep again. Does it at the distance? Not quite. It goes to the warning track. Adley Rutschman will tag up to home. Happ advances to third, and so it's now 7-2. From there, Wolf would be taken out of the game for a lefty. An odd decision because Louis St. John, who's up at the plate, hits against lefties better than anyone. Zooey mama! What a swing, and look at the Bautista bat flip at the end. Louis St. John with a 2-run blast. What time is it? I think it's LSJ time, and it's now 9-2. The Bautista bat flip there is certainly a loud and clear statement from Louis St. John, who is showing off to these Blue Jay fans. I think St. John understands how much of a rivalry these two teams had. So he literally did the exact same bat flip by Bautista, standing there and then flipping it with power. I think that's a loud and clear statement. I think that swing alone gives the Orioles all the momentum that they need, not just for the rest of this game, but for the rest of this playoff series. I think that's an unbelievable swing, and of course the after effects only add to the fun. So Will Brooks is in here in the bottom of the 9th inning. It's a 7-run game. The Orioles have pretty much had this game in the bag, and it looks like they're going to finish it off here as Bobby Witt flies out into right, caught by Heston Kjerstad. Great win here for the Baltimore Orioles as they take this one home by the final score of 9-2. The pitching was great. The offense was great, particularly towards the end. Louis St. John with a sick home run and one of his best bat flips, which says a lot because he's had some good ones. Overall, this is the type of win we needed, a dominant victory against Toronto to take a 2-1 series lead. Along with St. John, Castellanos, Kjerstad, and Rutschman also went deep. Max Meyer, of course, was great. And outside of Vladimir Guerrero Jr., the Blue Jays offense did not do a whole lot. Montgomery takes the loss. He wasn't great, but the bullpen is really what blew it there for Toronto. Chris Bubich is now fully healthy. That's nice. If we do get to a Game 5, of course, that would mean Toronto has to win today here in Game 4. And since it is an elimination game, we will play the entire contest here. Jacob deGrom, in his first playoff game as an Oriole, has a chance to send them to the ALCS. That should be fun. We'll see if Baltimore is able to pull it off or if we will return to Camden Yards for a Game 5. When these two teams played against each other in the ALDS 2 years ago, the Blue Jays won it in 4, so it would be fitting for Baltimore to give them a taste of their own medicine here and send them packing in their own stadium. That'd be pretty fun. So, of course, Toronto knows their back's against the wall. They know they have to win this game. The winner of this series will take on the Astros in the ALCS, so we could see a Baltimore-Houston rematch. Those two played against each other last year. The Braves have moved on in the National League, and then the Dodgers and Diamondbacks are tied at 2. Xavier Edwards has started 2 games in a row for the Orioles, which is pretty interesting. He's really starting to hit off of lefties well. And, well, there's another lefty on the mound for Toronto. It's Tarik Skubal, who doesn't have the greatest of numbers. Interestingly enough, his worst attribute is his home runs per 9. Added with the fact that he throws left-handed, I imagine Louis St. John is probably licking his chops right now. Nick Castellanos is up with one away, jams this one into right field. That'll drop for a hit, so the Orioles get an early base runner for Louis St. John, who was made for this situation. The big moment in an elimination playoff game against a left-handed pitcher who allows a lot of home runs. This one could have the carry. It's definitely high enough, but unfortunately not deep enough, as it is caught in center by Ramon Laureano. So an uneventful first at bat for Louis St. John, and so the Orioles would not score in that inning. Here is Jacob deGrom, who's not pitched a whole lot in the playoffs with the Mets. He was very young when they made the World Series back in 2015. And now 11 years later, he's looking to help his team get back to the Fall Classic as he strikes out Mariano Escobar on the low curveball. A great pitch there by Jacob deGrom, who's had a few great pitches throughout his career. Top 2, Adley Rutschman leads it off. He hits it high, deep into left field, and it is gone. Adley Rutschman with his 2nd home run in as many days, and so the Orioles are going to start this one on the board as they take a 1-0 lead. Adley Rutschman started the postseason off very slow, but since Game 3, he is really coming along quickly here, looking more like the Adley Rutschman we all know and love. That'll bring up Xavier Bowman. Does not have a hit yet in the playoffs, but that'll change right here. A single into center field. Good swing there by Bowman. And so the Orioles now have themselves another base runner. Still nobody out. Very good start here to the inning. That'll bring up Elliot Ramos, who grounds this one to second. Great play by Escobar. Flips it to Witt. Over to first. And Toronto turns the 4-6-3 double play. Good work there by the Blue Jays to turn a pair. And Skubal will get out of the inning, only allowing 1. Bottom 2 against Kepler. Got him on the low curveball. Great pitch there by deGrom. And then here's another one. Full count against Wagner. Got him on the outside. So a great inning, great start to this game for Jacob deGrom, who has pitched 2 scoreless. He is cooking so far as we move to the 3rd. Xavier Edwards has gotten off to a strong start this postseason, and he's going to add another base hit. A single into right field, so the speedster is aboard with nobody out. He is fired up there at first base. 2 away now for Louis St. John, again facing off against the lefty. Ooh, that's a filthy inside pitch. St. John with a big swing and a miss. He took a cut at that pitch and unfortunately doesn't go his way. So it remains 1-0 here. Gabriel Moreno with a big swing and a miss, and on that play, Moreno felt a pop in his labrum. Apparently he is in extreme pain, so I think initially we've got to be a little bit worried about that possibly being torn. A torn labrum would sideline him for a while, definitely for the rest of the playoffs if Toronto were to move forward. Luis Aviles Jr. goes down on the curveball. deGrom with 4 strikeouts today, continuing to pitch at a very high level. Top 4, runner on, 1 away for Bowman. The Blue Jays are going to look to turn 2, and they do. Tarik Skubal has quietly pitched quite well today. Other than the Adley Rutschman home run, he's been close to flawless. And, of course, he's just been overshadowed by Jacob deGrom, who's pitching even better. There's another strikeout, this time against Bobby Witt Jr. on the 2-seam fastball. deGrom with his 5th K of the day. Now Randy Arozarena is up. 1-2, grounds it to the mound. 4 scoreless for Jacob deGrom, who is cruising up to this point. In the 22 innings since Game 1, Toronto has scored 3 runs. In the playoffs, that's not going to cut it. Their offense is not producing at all. 5th inning now. Here's Elliot Ramos with a grounder to short to open things up. Great play by Bobby Witt Jr. to get the out. Witt, of course, was acquired mid-season by Toronto, attempting to replace the void of Bo Bichette, who signed with the Cardinals last offseason. And then Xavier Edwards grounds out to third. Nice little spin move there by Vladdy Jr. Another great inning for Tarik Skubal, and it's still 1-0, but not for long. Ramon Laureano with a nuke into left field, and this game is tied at 1. Ramon Laureano with his first home run of the playoffs, and it really could not have come at a better time. The Blue Jays offense needed to just get any form of offense today against deGrom, and that they do. So now the game is tied here, going into the 6th inning. Ian Happ with a single into center field, so the Orioles start the inning off of a base runner. They've done a good job of getting base runners on early, but have not been able to capitalize, as that brings up Louis St. John, only 0 for 2 today. But St. John's going to make him pay here. Another Bautista bat flip, And it's now 3-1. A 2-run shot for St. John, who is just swagged out right now in the moment. These Blue Jay fans have to be pretty humiliated right now, and I think Louis St. John is by far the most hated man, not only in the city of Toronto, but maybe the country of Canada, because he is tormenting and mocking this team, and I personally am here for it. Louis St. John with an awesome swing, and that's going to knock Scooball out of the game. Bold strategy again, pitching a lefty who allows a lot of home runs against Louis St. John. So now Trent Thornton is in. His day's not going to start off very well. Runner on, one out here for Adley Rutschman, who's going to hit a nice double into left center field. Lenny Lane, who got on off of a single, will advance to third. So now the Orioles have runners in scoring position here for Xavier Bowman, who flies this one into center field, caught by Laureano. They're going to send Lenny Lane, and yeah, that's a pretty bad decision. Ramon Laureano might have the best arm of any center fielder in the game. Lenny Lane might be slower than anyone in the game. That's not a combination for success. So the Blue Jays turn 2, but the Orioles get 2. 2-run blast by Louis St. John to put them ahead 3-1. Jacob deGrom remains in the game as Luis Aviles Jr. opens up the bottom half of the inning with a base hit. So Aviles is now aboard with nobody out. deGrom is getting close to 100 pitches, so the Orioles have to watch out. Bobby Witt with one away, grounds it to first. Can they turn 2? They do! Barely being able to throw out the speedy Bobby Witt Jr., so that'll conclude the 6th inning. That'll conclude Jacob deGrom's evening. 6 innings, 1 earned run, a phenomenal performance for the 37-year-old righty, and Julian Starnes will check in to replace him. So far, so good here in the playoffs for Starnes, is with 2 away, Ramon Laureano lines it past the first base line for what looks like a double. Poor throw out right, not that it really matters. Ramon Laureano has been playing well today. He threw out a runner, he hit the homer, now a double. The rest of the team hasn't really shown up as Kepler strikes out swinging. So that'll end the 7th inning. The Orioles are in the driver's seat. They are up 3-1. They just need 2 strong innings of baseball, and they should have this playoff series won. Lenny Lane with 2 away, pops into left center, caught by Randy Arozarena, and so that'll end the top of the 8th. No damage done by the Baltimore Orioles. They are still in command by 2. Brusdar Graterol is into the bottom of the 8th inning. He is not allowed a base runner yet in the postseason, coming off a fantastic regular season, as Brandon Wagner opens things up with a single. So there you go. The Blue Jays get themselves an early base runner. The tying run is at the plate. Toronto's not out of this game. They're only down by 2 runs. They just cannot ground into a double play. What does Danny Jansen do? 4-6-3 double play. Good defense there by Baltimore, and the Orioles are now only 4 outs away from moving on to the ALCS. Luis Aviles Jr. swinging a miss on the slider. Good inning for Brusdar Graterol, and Baltimore just needs 1 more good inning, and they will finally get revenge on the Blue Jays from 2 years ago. Yermín Mercedes, with his first at-bat of the playoffs, is going to come up big time here in the top of the inning with a 1-out double. The Orioles are getting some bench players in here and there, sprinkled in, so they can all, get some at-bats, and Mercedes makes the most of it there. That'll bring up Heston Kjerstad with a bomb into right field. Could that have the carry? It does! A 2-run homer for Heston Kjerstad, and I think that might be the dagger. Kjerstad with his 4th home run in the playoffs. I think either him or Louis St. John has easily been the MVP of this playoff series. I would give the nod to Kjerstad. He's just been a little bit more consistent, and with 4 home runs, it's pretty hard to beat. So Edwin Diaz is into the game. It's not a save opportunity because the Orioles are up by 4, but he was the only loose pitcher in the bullpen, so that's just the easiest route to go, as Escobar will draw a walk. So the Blue Jays get themselves an early base runner for Bobby Witt Jr., who grounds it to short. Luciano tags the bag. Throw to first is in time. Marco Luciano just checked in the game, and he gets a big double play. Now Toronto's down to their final out. It's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. with a big swing and a miss on the 1-1 count. Yeah, Guerrero just doesn't look in it right now, and he strikes out on the very next pitch. And the Orioles are moving on to the ALCS as they defeat the Blue Jays here. 3-1 your final in the series, 5-1 your final score today. So for the 3rd time in 4 years, the Orioles are going back to the ALCS as their title defense continues. The only time Baltimore has not made it to the ALCS in the past 4 seasons was 2 years ago in Season 4 when the Blue Jays defeated the Orioles in the ALDS, and now Baltimore finally gets revenge and closure on that postseason series. So the Orioles will face off against the Astros for the second straight year in the ALDS. All around a really good win. The offense wasn't overly consistent today, but obviously they did their job. It was the pitching, though, who won us the game. Jacob deGrom was phenomenal. The bullpen was phenomenal. All around, just a great performance for us. Ramon Laureano tried his hardest to carry Toronto, but baseball is a team sport. You need your 9 hitters and your pitchers all to play well, and other than Laureano, nobody did today. So a great win there for our Orioles, and we are now 1 series away from going back to the World Series. Just like we needed to get our revenge on Toronto, the Astros are thinking the exact same thing about us. We went to 7 games last year in the ALCS against Houston. Obviously, we ended up winning, and of course, won the World Series as a result. This Houston team is even better. They've made a number of big additions, most notably outfielder Akil Yabadabadoo of the Detroit Tigers, who, of course, the Astros just beat in the ALDS. So it should be a very fun matchup, and I'm excited to hopefully beat the Astros 2 years in a row. Hope everybody enjoyed the episode. Make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.